Hi, Lori here, a voice in the dark on YouTube, spiritscrossing.net. Dot, .net. I want to talk about a tough subject, death, the dying. Um, it is one of the hardest things for us to go through when we lose someone we love. Very difficult because we're going to miss all those wonderful memories we made with that person. And they are many, usually. And then with COVID, we've had, since the lockdown started, and we've had other things happen since, we have changed kind of how we're doing our services. Now, normally we'd have, 2 or 3 days of service with the body, and then bury it or cremate it and pass it to the wind. But now we're finding that we're having to wait because of weather and other obstacles that are happening with all the wild weather we're having now. And, you know, there's a few things that we need to start looking at, and maybe it'll make the mourning period a little easier. You see, we are spirits, and they live forever. Our spirit never dies. It experiences things, moves on to other things. When my mother passed away, she immediately went busy helping the African children in any way she could in spirit. We do work on the other side with all of us here that are still here in the 3D. And so life doesn't stop for them. We make it a little more difficult on them when we mourn them too long and we are too sad for too long, because that kind of glues them to our auric field, kind of glues them to this reality where they're not supposed to be in that way. You need to realize that we come here as soul groups with agreements to experience certain experiences. And then when those experiences have been met, then the last experience, of course, is the passing of that person that we love. It will not change how it hurts, but perhaps it will change how we mourn. That instead of being sad and dreary, which is going to be common with us anyway, but perhaps I like the new celebrations of life where we have time to mourn on our own, and then we have a celebration with anyone that wants to come to remember those wonderful memories and to laugh and to cut up and to hopefully continue the traditions that we built with that person with our own families. And me and my children did for a long time, going up the river road and remembering my mother. It was a fall habit we did every year. And with time, as we grow and change and move around, it doesn't seem to stick so much. But when we are together, we do try to do it. The thing is that for us to be fearless in this life, we need to understand death. Death is only here. It's only this physical presence, this avatar, if you will, because some of them are calling it a matrix, and this is an avatar we picked out, however you want to look at it. The thing is that this is a vessel we are temporarily using, and then we move on to the next dimension or the next realm or the first stages of heaven. And then we learn from what we did and what we didn't do, and we learn from all these emotional experiences we have here. And if we learned any lessons while we were there, otherwise we will have to come back and do it again till we understand the lesson. And then there's lots of other work we can do while we're over there. And it's not really over there, it's actually here somewhere. It's just at a higher vibration. And just, we need to understand that we are souls and that you can talk to your loved ones anytime you want, and they'll find a way to get you a message. And I knew about my mom, what she was doing. I've always had the gift to talk to spirits, but now I can talk to those who passed over. And it's become a really unique experience for me. I've had it for about 15 years. And anyway, they only get a message across if they feel it's something they really want to tell you. And or feel you really have to hear it. So one of the things, I know that they're very busy because right now we're going through this major ascension, this change in frequency in our lives and in our world, and it's changing. Everything's changing, and it's moving rapidly now. So the spirits on the other side are very busy. So if they're getting called back, especially a lot of the older ones, and I don't mean older people, I mean older souls are getting called back because they can do so much more work on the other side than younger ones can, because they have the experience. So try not to mourn too long. It's okay to miss them. It's normal to miss them. But you also have to realize that part of your lesson is to live without them, to not put all your fun and essence with just another person. You need to branch out and know that you are the center of love for you, and that you got to share a wonderful experience with another soul that you are part of a soul family with, and that it's okay that they're gone because you know you're going to see them again, and it won't be long. It never is to the soul. So, near-death experiences. The reason I can tell you this is because even I'd had near-death experiences, and I'll tell you about some of them that others have had that I've talked to. A lot of them talk about going to the white light and all that. And my mother had even died one time on the table from surgery. And she said she saw the white light, but then all of a sudden she saw musical notes. So she started following these musical notes up to the white light, but she was stopped. She was stopped and told, "It's not your time yet." And she said, "Oh," and then she looked back at her body, and she was back in her body. They brought her back. My experience was a little different. And my experience was they kept losing me multiple times, I guess at least 5 times. They were having a real hard time getting my heart to sustain, get it stabilized again. And I would see like a mandala in my third eye, or, it would take up the whole room, I guess, But I would see this beautiful mandala, and then I would leave my body. And I wouldn't even remember the body. Not really. I mean, you don't even think about it. Once you start exiting this body, this human form, you don't even think of this down here. But as I got out, I was looking at the stars going, yeah. But there was an aspect of me, which would be my higher mind. It looked like a younger version of me with a certain outfit on. I was familiar with it because I have a picture of it. And I looked, and because I was kind of dumbfounded that I was there and I was here and somewhere out over there. And I was like, and she would just reach over and touch my body and say, "Not your time yet." And I would go back in the body. Well, the first thing you think of when you're in the body is everything here, everything that's in your physical reality. But once you leave it, you don't think about it. You won't think about it again until you get to heaven. You will have relatives or friends that will meet you and help you cross over. And then you'll do a life review And but the thing is that that's for those who are dying. Don't be afraid, and just know that there's going to be someone that's going to greet you and help you over. There's a healing place there too for souls that have been through a lot, and they will be taken to that first, and then they'll go through a healing. And it's a pretty special healing with high angels and crystals and things like that, and get the frequency back and heal the soul. Now, here, it's just to let you know that you're going to see them again, and that there's nothing to be afraid of either way. And you can talk to them, and they can get messages to you. Sometimes a bird will, a certain blurt, something that was familiar to you with them. When I smell coffee, I know my mom is here. When I smell fish, I know my grandmother's here because her fish, she used to have a fish stand, fried fish. And then, just different people have different things, When it's one of my other grandmas, I see bluebirds, and I see a lot of bluebirds, blue jays here. And I even had a special snow one this year. Snow bluebird or something. I didn't know what it was. Someone had to tell me. I'd never seen one before. So I know that when my relatives are coming to talk to me, I can just tell. I'm a little more psychic, a little more sensitive, that kind of thing. And I've had some experiences with it. And I'm telling you that they love you fiercely. They worry sometimes, but they know that you're experiencing things and that you're just going to do it the hard way or you're going to do it the easy way. And, they root for you is what they do. Go, go, go. You got this. Oh, no. I wish you wouldn't do it that way, but okay. You're going to pick that road for a while. Because they know also for a while, they know that it's just a temporary road. All the roads we take are temporary, and all the roads lead to God. Each lifetime has its set of parameters or ideals that it would like to reach. The soul does. Sometimes we meet them and sometimes we don't. It's heavy here for us as a soul. It's a heavier energy. And we don't have our memory unless we really work at it, which you can do, but you got to meditate and get in tune with your soul. And God got us all that is source. But that's possible too. That's up to you. That's a spiritual relationship with your personal relationship with God. And I highly recommend it. It would heighten your religious experience. And it's beautiful. But it would help enlighten you more about certain things that sometimes you talk about, sometimes you don't. But a part of you somewhere in the back of your mind wonders, is this all there is? No, this is not all there is. We do live many lifetimes. And because there's no way in one lifetime we could experience every emotion possible and experience everything that's possible. And I guess in these kind of chaotic times, and there's war, and there's shootings, and you're losing loved ones, that it helps the heart to know that they're okay, because they are. And they don't want to bug you, and they hope they don't have to worry about you too much. They love you, and they know that you'll be okay, and they'll see you again soon. Soon to them is, there is no time. Not really. So soon to them could be tomorrow to them, and us it might be 30 years, 50. You never know. But to them it's soon. They'll see you soon, and they'll be there for you when you're ready to cross over. Our soul families are pretty cool. It's unique. Unique in the sense that we have experienced a lot of things together: pain, sorrow, excitement, love, joy, hatred. You name it, we've experienced it. I just don't want you to worry about them. And I want you to understand that your soul, because you were the one left behind, so to speak, not in the biblical sense of, revelation or anything, because you feel like you were left behind alone. That's how you feel. I was mad at my mom for a long time because she wasn't supposed to leave me before my dad. We wanted her to stick around longer because he could be a real pain in the ass. But it didn't happen that way. So then I realized that my experience was I had to get over the issues I had with my dad and grow and learn from the lessons he taught me, forgive him, and when I actually forgave him, he started getting worse. And he could move on. I had to forgive him, though. And because that was part of his karma, is to be sick, but with his mind a little bit there so he could remember. So it seems complicated, but it's not. It's just life. And we chose to go through this to become better gods. Yeah, we're gods, believe it or not. And to become a master, most of us old souls have already been a master once. This is our second mastery. And we choose it because this is the toughest school in the universe. It is very hard to go through some of the experiences we go through and have the changes in our personality and our character, in some cases severely, and still have to learn how to learn the actual lesson, where our involvement was and where our shortcoming was. Now, I'm not talking about children when they get hurt, when they're children. I'm talking about the adult child who has failed to do the work, face the inner pain and hurts, and let them go and move on with their life. That's what my gist is here, is that you have to move on with your life, all of you. Yes, we lose people. And yes, we've been hurt and damaged sometimes, trauma. But I'm telling you now, it's a lesson. Find what the lesson is. What was the lesson in all that? As you became older, the childhood, you had no guilt in. None. None. No child is responsible for the abuses they get. When we get older, though, if we fail to deal with those abuses and those traumas, then it does become part of our problem, because then we're attracting the same situations and scenarios over and over and over again until we get it right, until we learn that, oh, I have this pain hidden inside of me and I didn't want to deal with it. So deal with it. It takes almost 2 minutes for each pain. That's it. If I'd known it was that short and sweet, I would have hopefully done it when I was younger. So I'm really encouraging people to deal with their trauma. But that's the other part about being a spouse, say, and you lose your mate. It hurts, especially when it's a good mate. Even when it's a bad one, it's one you're used to. And it is hard. But there is a big point that your soul needs to do, and that is you have to accept they're gone and still love yourself and not feel guilty about taking the time now to find out who you are by yourself, get to know yourself really well, and then move on. You may find another partner, or you may not. You may not want to. But don't do it because you're sad. Do it because you've come alive with a new aspect of yourself that you never knew you had, or you thought you'd lost. Just remember that we're here for soul lessons, to become better than we were yesterday, and to become better than the soul we were before this lifetime. And co-create with God. Know that there is something bigger than all of us. We're all an integral part of it, but it's much greater than us, and it knows more, and it can help us. Just pray. Reach out to God. Start a personal relationship with God. And God uses angels and people every day to get us the answers we need. So start talking to God, and He'll make sure you get the answers. And start understanding that we're souls having an experience. That's all. However, the experiences are integral parts of our growth. If we didn't understand what pain was, how could we be gods with the future worlds that we might be in charge of? How would we understand what our creations were going through? So, lighten up on yourself. Love yourself. Every day look in that mirror and say, I love you. You might be a mess, but you're a beautiful mess. That's what I always tell myself, because I am a mess, but I'm a beautiful mess. So, love yourself. And when someone passes, perhaps the new way of allowing ourselves to kind of, mull that mourning over a little longer instead of trying to shove it all into 3 days or a week. And maybe just relax a little bit with our memories, with our family members or friends and partners. And then celebrate later when you feel like celebrating, when you feel the pain has subsided enough. And then have a celebration of life, because that's how they want to be remembered. They want to be remembered because you're happy. You lived with them. You shared a life with them, no matter how long or short that life span was. I know it's the hardest when we lose a child. That is perhaps the hardest one of all. And there are no words that will make you feel better, except knowing that they see you and they're proud of you and they love you and thank you for the experience, because that's what they needed for their soul growth. And they're happy to have had those moments, whatever they were. They are happy to have had them with you. Remember that. And they're happy. I mean, as souls, that's all we really know is happiness. We're happy and unconditional love. We're so happy it's almost spooky happy compared to what we experience here. So let them be happy. Make them proud of you. And let them know that you're going to do the soul growth that you need to do for your own soul now, because you did the job on that one. So, God love yous all, and blessings and love from me. And just hang in there and know that death is not an end. It's just another beginning for every soul. And that you're going to see them again, and it'll be okay. And try not to hang on to them too tightly for too long, because they do have work to do, and they're nudging me to make that real clear. Right now there's a lot of work to be done. They're helping all the other souls that are crossing over right now, that are in the wars and stuff. So, but they can feel you, and they feel every thought you have, and they feel every emotion, and they pray, and they hope that you'll understand sooner than later that they're okay and that you should be okay because you did your job. And they did theirs. So learn the lesson. And the lesson here is we are souls that live forever. Our bodies are just an avatar, if you will, a shell that we encase when we want to come here and experience life in a different way. Good night. This is Lori from A Voice in the Dark. Talk to you later. And remember, on my description, there is always the 800 numbers if you should ever need one. And suicide isn't a choice, so everybody stay away from that one. It's not a choice, and you don't want to go through that because, well, that's another subject, and I have a video on it. Go look for it. But I'm just saying, it's not a choice anymore. So right now, we're in a real powerful, positive soul movement. Don't blow it. Love you. Take care.